Hi and welcome to my channel. In this video I'll show you how to replace your fan shroud or engine cooling fan or radiator fan on a W220 Mercedes-Benz S500, S430 and other models with the M113 engine. The job is quite simple. After disconnecting the electric plug, which is right underneath there are a couple of types of fans, but the most common type is the one with the motor right there by the air intake tube. You'll have to take the air intake tubes out too at some point. I'm not showing that in this video. There are two 13mm bolts on top, very easy to get to and to remove, and then there's one underneath that is connecting one of the cooling lines to the shroud. You'll have to remove that too, and I'll show that to you in a second. And then really the cooling line, coolant line that goes to one end of it goes to the thermostat in the engine bay, and the other to the coolant reservoir. You'll have to remove that too, and you'll see in a minute how that is done. But this is the 13mm bolt in the bottom that is connecting one of the cooling lines to the shroud. You'll have to remove that also. The torque value for all three of these 13mm bolts is I believe 8 Newton meters, but you can just hand tight it pretty good. That should be sufficient. If you take a straight head screwdriver and insert it underneath the line, you'll find a clip there. As you can see, I'm pushing it down and you'll see the clip there going up and down. You'll have to find that sort of by touch and then move it down. That will enable you to remove the coolant line. This is probably the hardest part of this job, removing it and then reinstalling it, because it it's kind of hard to move out. If you cannot do it by hand, use a longer screwdriver or a pry bar and leverage it against the frame of the car, pushing it while you're pulling it by hand. And then there are two retaining lugs in the bottom on the two sides that holds the fan to the sides of the radiator or the frame, and you kind of jiggle it up from the right side and then from the left side and move it up. It's really that easy. Make sure you compare it to the replacement fan. Mine is new, Nissan's. I have it in the beginning of the video. I think I purchased it for $400 something, brand new. This is not where you want to go cheap, because heat is the enemy of the engine and all the other components, so you want to get a quality fan. But you can also, depending on how long, the mileage of your car and whatnot, you might want to get a used one from eBay or Amazon, a lot cheaper, probably for half the price, from a good mileage car. Also, depending on what's wrong with the fan, this fan is completely kaput. Maybe it's just the motor that you need to replace, or the control module, or even the belt. So this is not the diagnostics video. You'll have to determine that, and depending on your needs, replace piecemeal the parts you need, or the entire fan, used or new. This is for a new fan, and I'm taking the rubber tabs out of the two sides of the old fan and pressing them against the new Make sure you do that. And then it's quite easy to just reinstall it carefully, making sure you're not pushing it against the coolant line on the left. You could disconnect those two from the reservoir if you want. And I'm, as you see here, I'm draining the coolant, and you can recover that if you have a catch pan underneath, of course. You can recover it and put it back in the reservoir. But I'm planning to replace the coolant, flush the coolant. I have a video actually that shows you that. By the way, the age of this fan was 130,000 miles, so depending on your usage, whether or not you use your AC system, the fan will go bad around, after 100,000 miles, between 100 to 150,000 miles, unless you don't use the car very often or you don't go for long drives. So this is a maintenance item. At some point it will fail, and usually it will give you indications that it is about to fail. So when you hear funny noises, unusual noises, in this case the fan will continue to run and you could hear it after the engine was turned off. And so it was time to replace it. Here I'm showing you how to move the clip, and there is a groove there that you have to match to the same space in the radiator, and this is probably the second hardest part of the job. Putting it back in, you want to make sure it's pressed firmly and it's gone all the way in. And once you do that, then you just press the clip up to make it liquid tied, so that the coolant doesn't leak. And so here I'm pressing the clip up, and that's pretty much it. You'll replace the 3 bolts. I mentioned the torque value, 8 Newton meters, 2 on top, 1 in the bottom, and then that's it. Do some test drive, make sure there are no leaks, and bring it to temperature, of course. Bring the engine to temperature, see that the fan is actually operating, and then remove the jack stands and bring the car down. Don't forget to put the air intake tubes back in, and that's pretty much it. So please like, share, and subscribe if you want to see more videos like this. I hope you have enjoyed this video and you find it of use, and I will see you some other time. Take care.